gold. He loves gold. He loves gold.
Wow, wow, that was marvelous, marvelous. Now I've got to tell you that is Gloria, Hendry, and Phil Wright. Phil Wright is a musician and composer, and Gloria, this is Gloria Hendry, she's an actress and a singer. And by the way, she's my sister. And that's my brother-in-law, Phil. Say hi, Phil.
Hi.
Well, we're going to have a great day today. Well, Gloria, you know, you have been singing, being an actress all these years. What motivated you to start being an actress, for starters?
Well, remember when we used to go to the movies?
There she goes. Come on, we don't have a lot of time.
We used to sit there in the theater and we used to stare at the screen. I used to, you know, whatever reason, I used to seem like I would just drink every move that was going on. I had no idea. I had no idea that I wanted to be an actress. Had no idea.
Well, I saw it in you when we were young. I saw you love to just entertain and sing and just you love that. That's your ministry.
Yes, but I think it was because Mother wanted to be an actress and a singer herself.
Okay.
She used to hang out with Sarah Vaughan and Ruth Brown in Newark, New Jersey, and she used to go to the clubs with them, and they used to sing, but she found out it was so hard to do. She stopped. She said, no, I'm not going to be treated like that.
But look, we're getting off track now.
I know.
Understand. But listen, you are performing now at Barbara Morrison. Phil and you guys are performing at Barbara Morrison Performing Arts Center.
Yes.
So I saw you guys perform last month. So tell the audience tell us a bit about that.
Well, we got together with this wonderful 18-piece orchestra, Jonathan Goldman. And
18-piece.
Mm-hmm.
I saw
Jonathan
it. It was marvelous.
Goldman,
Go ahead.
Jonathan Goldman and the Big Band Express. And they've been rehearsing with us for a while, and Phil wrote the jazz arrangements to Bond songs. Because, you know, the arrangement by John Barry, Don Black, and Michael Cera, and Leslie Bicuse, I mean, they wrote music with huge orchestras, like 40 pieces with violins and etc.
Yes.
And he knocked it down to 18 pieces
yes.
in a jazz format.
Now,
and I'm really loving it.
Now, Phil, your career spans from what? 19, or can I say the year?
If you can find it.
It says 1949 to present as a musical director, producer, conductor, arranger, composer, pianist, all around the world. Blues, pop, and R&B. You have been with Abbey Lincoln, Peggy Lee, Sarah Vaughan, Nancy Wilson, Lou Rawls, Eartha Kitt, just to name a few. Which one did you enjoy? How did you get started in this music?
Well, first of all,
come on.
I grew up in New York City, and when I was in junior high school, music teacher suggested that I take the test for the High School of Music and Arts, which was a city school in New York, but it was you had to pass an exam, and it was all for musicians and artists, you know. So I had only been taking lessons for about 6 months, but she convinced me to take the test, and I took the test, and to my surprise, I passed. So I went to the High School of Music and Arts, which was a school where you had music classes every day, theory, harmony. They had orchestra, band, chorus, and plus all the academic subjects.
Wow.
So it was a special school. It still exists in New York City.
Still exists. Okay. It still exists.
Yeah, it still exists. So that was my basic training in especially in theory harmony, which is basic for arranging and composition and that type of thing.
Okay, how was it working with like Nancy Wilson, Eartha Kitt, and all those kind of people? You traveled around the world, or what?
Well, yeah, I developed and played with a lot of jazz groups in New York before I left. And when I I moved to Chicago in the early '60s, and played in the Regal Theater Orchestra, and I got a job at Chess Records because I had written an arrangement for someone who came to the show and didn't have any music, but they had a hit record. So I had to take the record and
Rescue Me, was it?
No, it was singing.
Stewart.
No. Just
let him get it.
Yeah, and.
That's her husband. She tries to put words in his mouth.
Yeah. And anyway, I wrote the arrangement, and then I had to go down to Chess to get paid, and then they asked me if I'd like to do some work for them, and I did.
Oh.
And so that's when I got a chance to work with people like Fontella Bass and Billy Stewart and so many others, Eddie James and so forth.
Yes.
And then on, and after that, I moved to California, and I worked for Capitol Records for a few years. And then after that, I traveled with Nancy Wilson for 7 years around the world.
Wow.
Then I've had my own group. And actually right here in Pasadena, I had my group for 3 years at a place called Trafiori, right up the street.
Trafiori.
Trafiori. It's another name now, but
yes.
I was there with my trio for several years, and then I was in Beverly Hills with my group at a place called Maple Drive Restaurant.
Yes. I was there. I saw you perform up there many times,
right.
Phil.
For 12 years I was there.
Oh wow, that was wonderful.
So,
up there. It was like a supper club, like.
Yeah.
Yes,
Do
exactly.
they still have a lot of those supper clubs out
still
there?
do.
A few,
Yeah.
but it's not like they used to.
Yeah,
But
of course not.
so that's basically my history short version of my
But
history.
was it expensive trying to? Did your mom put you through school, or it was in the school that you learned all of this?
Well, the High School of Music and Art was a public school.
Okay.
It wasn't a private school.
Okay, so you learned this through public school.
Yeah, I did,
So-
and then of course I went to college in Ohio and got a degree in music. But
you became a teacher.
well, I taught school and did a lot of writing and so forth.
And you had your own band in your school.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have been around, Phil. Boy, I've learned
I've
some
been
things.
around.
You've been around.
And he wrote the arrangements to Rescue Me. Rescue Me.
Oh, did he really?
Rescue
Wow.
Me.
Yeah, that and a lot of others.
Wow.
A lot of others,
So
but-
we're just casually just talking. And Gloria, you just went from actress to singing. First you were an actress, or were you a singer all the
I was
time?
a singer first. Yeah, there's a lot of things I got pushed into. When I say pushed, people said, well, why don't you model? Remember Sadie Renee? Sadie Renee used to make me do her hats in Newark.
Yeah.
So I got into modeling. Remember, I used to do a lot of print work in New York in the 60s when most of us were not doing that type of work.
Yes, yeah.
And
There was a color thing, yes.
Helen Williams was the top model then.
Yeah.
Helen Williams, she was the first black model. And I think she was on the cover of Bazaar or Vogue or something like that. And then came us, and then came Naomi Sims, and then came the rest of them down the line. Beverly Valdez was one of them, Emily Yancey. Golly, so many of us, not a lot of us, was a handful of us in the 60s. We were breaking all kinds of color lines with commercials and print work. And then I got involved in acting because people said, well, why don't you be in my film? And that's how it started.
Yeah.
And my first union movie was Landlord with Sidney Poitier. Landlord. Oh, no. It was For Love of Ivy. For Love of Ivy with Sidney
yeah.
Poitier and Abby Lincoln.
Wow,
Yeah, and I was a bunny then.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking.
Playboy.
Bunny, that's where a lot of things came in. How you grew out of that. People started seeing you. You were around certain people. It's not what you know; it's who you know.
It has a lot to do with what's on your mind is what you find. And
Oh, that's a good one.
What's on your mind is what you find, because we live through our minds. So whatever you're thinking on a daily basis, exactly where you want to be, you will be.
That's a good.
Because you are looking for it. I used to look for that dead dog all the time.
Oh.
Remember, how many dead dogs did we have?
Oh, I don't even want to talk about it.
I used to drive and be looking for the dead dog. And you know what? When I find it, I go, it confirms me. Oh, I found the dead dog.
Oh, my goodness,
So,
my goodness.
there we are.
But Gloria, now, with this Live and Let Die, let's talk about the bond. You one of the, what do you call? You are one of the original bond, you are one of the official bond lady.
Yes,
Let's talk
that's
about
true.
that. So many people, a lot of people that's mature people, they remember you as the bond lady. You were one of the, not one of the first ones, but you were with at least 5 of the black women that were in the Bond movies, right?
Correct.
So tell us about it. Let's start telling us about that.
Well, to make a long story
Yeah, it's a long
short,
story.
it's a whole lot involved, meaning
Okay.
that if I just want to roll back and say, I was the legal secretary for Roy Wilkins,
No, I wanna
NAACP. I'm just saying, out of that, and I
Oh.
branched out of that and I became a bunny, how that evolved
Oh.
out of all of the 60s, the turmoil that everything went through,
Yes.
and the emotional strain it did on a lot of us in the society. I just wanted to go out and do something else. So I just veered off and I applied at the Playboy and I
You
became
left
a bunny.
Jersey.
Right. I left Jersey, I did. And I became a bunny. And out of being a bunny, the people, again, your mind, the people that I was around, eventually acting became more, and also commercials and also print work out of that. And for some reason, somebody told me to go to California. I went to California. It was Ken Menard who stood in for Sidney Poitier, because we used to do a lot of print work together. And off to California I went, and my first movie was Black Caesar.
Yes.
With Hellop in Harlem.
You called that the
yeah,
what
that's
did you
the
call it?
black exploitation time.
Yes.
And I did Black Caesar with Fred Williamson, and how I got that role. And out of that came, Live and Let Die. For some reason, somebody on the set saw me and recommended me, or however it went down,
Yes,
to
yes, yes.
the Bond franchise, and they were looking for someone. And my manager called me and said, Gloria, they want to see you for Bond. I said, you're kidding me.
Oh,
I'm not
boy.
tall. I'm
yes,
not
yes.
white, and I'm not buxy. I mean, they don't, why
Yeah.
me?
You thought
Anyway,
you have a big breast.
they flew me in.
Breast. Uh-huh.
That is, I had to fly myself back to New York
Yes,
from California.
Yes.
I had to fly in from California to New York to see Harry Salzman. And that wonderful gentleman said, how soon can you leave to go to Louisiana? I was like, I just flew in. And he wanted me to meet Guy Hamilton and Roger Moore, and they flew me down to Louisiana, New Orleans. And I met them, the limousine, first class, the whole 9 yards. And when I met them, we broke bread. I went to the set, and he said, how would you like to stay for the weekend? I said, no, I'll go back. I flew back. I went back to California and getting ready to do another film, and they called me and said, you got the role. Go get your, and I never read a line. Go get your shots.
Oh, never
your
read.
gamma gluten shots and all the shots that are needed to go to Jamaica.
Oh, boy.
72.
Well, now, we want to ask about, I've got a picture with, she's wearing her afro on this one. I believe we have a still on this one. Okay, with her afro, in her, what was this, Live and Let Die?
Yeah, that's Live and Let Die.
Tell us about it. Tell us about it.
And I was supposed to have did a stunt, but see, Bond people, they have stunt people. And I'm in London at Pinewood Studios, the famous Pinewood Studios, shooting interior. So as I'm in this supposed to be Jamaican hotel, but it's interior, and I'm supposed to be coming through the door, and he puts a cigar out in my hand, I somersault, and my wig falls off. as you can see.
Yeah, thank you for sharing,
But-
bringing that back.
Yeah,
Thank you.
my wig falls off.
Yeah, thank you. Hold it for a second.
Yeah, my wig falls off, and it's like I'm embarrassed, and then I start my line, right? But that was not me doing the somersault through the
Hold
door.
that. Uh-huh. Now.
That was a white stuntman, painted in blackface, arms
Yes,
and
yes.
everything, with the same identical dress I had on.
But isn't that something now, to me, your
Because
wig fell off.
we did not have people of color
Right.
stunt for females
Oh.
in Great Britain at that time in the
I see.
70s.
Now I see what
Yes,
you're saying.
yes.
Oh, but I thought when I saw you and your wig fell off and you got ready to put it back on and you kept it off, your hair was beautiful. That's when and you were one of the first black woman to start wearing your hair real short and cropped like that at that
Besides
time.
Cecily Tyson, because
Besides
wonderful Cecily did set the trend then. She was
did.
one of the first.
Isn't that
And
something?
also Angela.
That's it?
No. Angela Davis. She wore the big afro. So
Oh, yes,
that's
yes,
what
yes.
I did in the film too.
Yes.
I put on the big
Everybody
afro.
didn't have that big one though, but
I put on the big afro.
That was
And
wonderful.
I took a number of pictures like that at the big afro because
Wonderful.
of Angela
Wonderful,
Davis.
wonderful. Now, Phil. Now, Phil, they call him the what?
Silver
Fox. Why did they call you the Silver Fox, Phil?
Because my hair started turning gray at an early age.
In an early,
You
Yeah.
were gray when I met you. He was all gray when I met him.
but he had a young face.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So
You were
what?
in your 40s when
So
I met
who
you.
named you that? Did you name that? Someone gave you that name.
Well, I'm not sure.
You're not sure at the, so
Yeah.
long ago, huh?
Yeah.
And he also called you Flip.
Well, that was a nickname from my college days. Yeah.
College days. So you seem like you have a burning desire to play.
He does.
Yeah. Well, I've been playing for
Oh, yeah.
most of my life.
Now, have you ever taught this to young people or whoever wanted to learn how to play the piano? Or?
Yeah. At a period of my life, I did have students and all of that, but it's a little difficult trying to do what I'm doing, the writing and so forth. It takes up a lot of time.
Yes.
So I don't have any individual students at this point.
Right.
But
Yeah. Is it hard to, what's the difference between, again, a piano and a keyboard?
well, nowadays, a piano. When you say piano, you usually use the word acoustic piano, which means it's not electric. It's all natural sound. It has strings in it and a sounding board and all of that. When you talk about keyboards, what you're dealing with nowadays usually is an electronic instrument, which has a keyboard like a regular piano.
That's a keyboard.
This is a keyboard.
That's a
that keyboard that I'm playing right now.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have all kind of keyboards and some synthesizers. There are many different names, but basically it's an electronic instrument.
The keyboard.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yes, that's beautiful. I think piano playing, all of it is just beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
On that same note,
Uh-huh.
it's one thing I have to say about the Bond franchise.
Okay.
From day one, the gadgets, the so-called phone when he was out in the middle of nowhere, he had a phone in his hand. And cell phones are today. Also, the gadgets of a camera inside of a cane or a small camera. They were taking pictures back then in the 60s.
Yeah.
You know, in other words, this wonderful Richard Maybaum, who was the screenwriter, put in a lot of gadgets into the Bond films, which to really blow it up. And everything was futuristic. And also a car that can be driven as well as a boat. And etc. And also the laser. In 1971, I think Diamonds Are Forever, I think that was the first time you saw a laser getting ready to kill Bond. And now we have lasers.
Isn't that something?
And there's more. And now they started a museum. They opened a museum in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
Showing you the gadgets from the Bond that has now the CIA, the Central
Yes,
Intelligence, are
isn't that
using
something?
today. It's just awesome.
Now, you travel around the world when they have these, what do you call it, these conventions?
Memorabilia conventions.
Tell
yes.
them about that. That's
Well,
very
you know,
interesting.
it really is. It's like antique. Think of like antique furniture, where they have auctions, where people come from everywhere to look at this fine furniture from the 1800s, 17, 16, etc. Well, take people. They have antiques like okay, there's a Playboy book full of various characters that worked at the Playboy Club, and now some are teachers, some are professors, some are top-notch doctors, or have invented something.
But related
to
the bonds
to the bond. They
all
have
the bond
they
ladies,
have
or all the
a bond junket, meaning
yes.
that all of us will be appearing together, like from the various films. There's, what is it, 24 now? So maybe 20 of the characters from the Bond might be there, signing photos, autographs, such as that you'll see in my book that I have here, right here, that I'm Gloria Bond and all, etc. And we sign autographs, and people...
Is this the one you're talking about? The
yes,
book?
and
now,
people walk away with this memorabilia, and
yes.
as time goes by, it becomes valuable. It becomes
yes.
valuable with the signature.
Yes. I've traveled with my sister to London, to New York, maybe Florida, and she had a table set up, and people would come by. Oh, I saw you in that movie, Live and Let Die, with Roger Moore and all of that. And she'll sign the picture, and then they take it home. You know, of course, it's for a certain amount of money, but it's a memorabilia. Mm-hmm. And people just love that. Even to this day, young people love to get your autograph and take it home and add it to their collection.
Right,
It's
Transformers,
wonderful.
Star Trek, Harry Potter, etc. Yeah, I even run around doing it myself.
Now, we're going to get to the second, stay tuned, because we're going to have a second, a part 2. And we're going to tell you about all the African American or black women that were a part of the Bond ladies.
Oh, yeah.
The Bond ladies. So we want you to stay tuned for that on part 2, okay? But anyway, finish telling us about, you said British? You said something about Bonds. Most people,
yeah.
all the actors were British?
Well, yes. The Bond film the novel started with Ian Lancaster Fleming, born in 1909. Oops, excuse me, 1908, to a British family, and very wealthy, as a matter of fact. And he spun off and he got into the I believe the Royal Navy, and became a Central Intelligence agent. At that time, they called it the Office of Strategic Services, which means an espionage, which means spy. Okay. So he did quite a bit of ventures there, and he was that kind of guy anyway. He enjoyed adventures. So he wrote, when he retired in Jamaica, and wrote his novels. He wrote 12 novels and 9 short stories on his ventures of being espionage. And some of them were called Mincemeat, and another one was called Golden Eye. And there was one plan of espionage where this homeless guy killed himself, unfortunately, but they took this body and they dressed him in a major's outfit.
Yes.
And they also took valuable documents about where the British Army would be, or the British soldiers would be for the war against Germany.
War against Germany. Look,
right, yes.
We don't want to...
In other words, they won.
They won. Okay. Now, again, like I said, we'll have a part 2 on this. So we're getting ready to wrap this one up right now. But we have our mother on stage with us. And thank you. This is Lottie Hendry, my mother and Gloria's mother. We love her.
Mother.
Our mother, she says. We'll see you on the next portion. And Phil.